Hello, this is Peter Murphy, President and CEO of the Illinois Association of Park Districts. Today, we are presenting another video as part of our Legends video series. One of the missions of IAPD is to recognize outstanding park, forest preserve, and conservation district board members throughout the state of Illinois. I hope the knowledge and insights these great leaders provide will inspire you to continue to make a positive impact at your agency and in your community. Please enjoy.
Hello, I'm Wayne Utterback, Director of Communications and Digital Content for the Illinois Association of Park Districts, and I'm pleased today to be joined by West Chicago Park District Commissioner Frank Lenertz for the first episode of our Legends video series. Thanks for being with us, Frank.
Thank you for being here.
Now, can you give me just a little bit of background about how long you've been here at the Park District and what you've been involved in?
How about the why? We'll start there. Is that okay?
Let's do it.
I used to be the president of the Softball Association. At that time, there was no Park District. They were part of the city as a committee. And like any other city, when we had too much snow or we need a new truck, we'll just go ahead and cut the Park District's money. We're going to give that to Park District, but the Park Committee. And things started getting run down, and then we ended up having a Park District, and I was president of Park District, and felt that, where's our slice of the pie? We had this Park District, we're collecting money, so I figured, well, don't criticize, become a park commissioner and find out. Got a great education. I got on the board, there was 5 of us, found out when you pass a referendum, that's year 1. Year 2, you put your taxes out. Year 3, you get your money. And then going, oh, now I know why nothing's getting done. You guys have no money. They did not even have enough money to hire a director. And the bank gave us money to get a storefront where people knew there was a park district, got us a director, and then we moved forward. And everyone said I was a softball commissioner. And I wasn't necessarily here to build new softball diamonds. I was here to make a better recreation. And it was probably 10 years before they touched the softball fields at all. And we've come a long way, and I'm glad to be part of it. I really am.
Now, how would you describe your overall experience here with the Park District?
Wow, I'm not too sure what you mean by that. I'm going to say growth in our services, growth in the people that work for us. When I first started, there was 2 people. And now I think we've got 30 full-time people. And if you take our part-time people, we're well over 300. And the services that we've given our constituents are they're almost unbelievable. And the quality, you look at our water park, I mean, it's second to no one as far as I'm concerned. And we change every day. We change our philosophy because you have to move with recreation. What's ahead of us? That's my big question.
Now, when you think about your time as a commissioner, what was the motivating factor for becoming involved and becoming a commissioner? Can you just touch a little bit more on that?
I'm very adamant about this. If you live in a city and you don't like what's going on, get involved and get the facts. And then stay with that commitment and to make it a better place, be it the police department, the city, the library, whatever. I love people who say, why is so-and-so in office? Be the president or be it the governor. Did you vote? No. Then don't talk to me. Are you a registered voter? No. Then you have no reason, no grounds to complain. Get involved. I don't care if it's your church or what it is, you need to be involved.
Now, what is it about the West Chicago Park District that you feel makes it special, that makes it unique, that makes it stand out?
Not knowing some other commissioners and directors of other park districts, I think we're more open. I think we're open to creativity from our CEO all the way down to our lifeguards. They're constantly in contact. I mean, these people don't work with us. They work for us. They tell us what people are saying. It's really a big family, and you may laugh at that, but it really is. The person who's our lifeguard who walks the decks will tell Gina, our pool manager, hey, this is what I'm hearing. Or somebody out in the parks will say, why isn't this being done? How come they got a slide we don't? We listen to that and we try to react to it. One way or another, either a phone call to explain why it's not there, or, hey, thank you, never knew it. We'll take care of that. And I think creativity, I don't care any part in this district, creativity has never stopped. You look at our programs for our families, like our Boo Bash, for example. We've got never had a PR person, and now we've got a person and a half. We call it two people. We're constantly refocusing, redeveloping every department, which I think is fantastic. We had two people on our building on grounds not too long ago. And we're constantly trying to make it and listen, have people tell us what's going on. We're willing to listen and change.
Now, what keeps you engaged and involved today?
I think, honestly, selfishly, it keeps me younger. It keeps me part of the community. I used to be a little more active than I was before. I used to go to quite a few programs. Now I've kind of drifted off. No reason for it. Shame on me. But I trying to get back into that service back to it because it's just so neat. We were here for a Boo Bash. There must have been 500 people here, little dudes. I mean, they're just going crazy, and they're really loving it. Their parents. It's nice to see parents and the kids get together, and have somebody come up to you as a commissioner or to an employee saying, "This is fantastic, and it's free." You know, some of the stuff, a lot of it's free. But we do quite a few things in our outdoor shell, which we were in conjunction with the city. That's all free entertainment. And I think it's neat to be part of that. And as I say, it keeps you young, keeps you involved in the community. You get to know people, you get to know their thoughts. And some are way out there. And you try to explain to them, there's no way we can do that. But we'll look at it, and we do. And we go back to those people.
What is a philosophy or philosophies that a person who might be looking to become a commissioner or a new commissioner might be able to adapt in order to be successful?
Great question. And if you asked me that probably my first 5 years, I'd say, I know what you're talking about. I was at the state conference, and it was on ethics. And a gentleman walked in about 5 minutes late, the speaker. And he goes, with the Chicago Tribune, we use my name. Lenertz votes no. Or something like that. And he says, if that doesn't bother you, to have people know you voted no or voted yes for a pay raise or whatever it's going to be, you're doing the right thing. Commissioners get paid $100 a year, which we don't get paid, but I would be embarrassed that was on the paper. He said, then you need to think about your ethics. And he walks out. I'm going, that can't be it. And he came back and just talked about, if you're not ashamed to have your name and your picture on the paper, you're probably doing the job right. And I've always led myself as a commissioner to keep that in front of me because I don't want my name in the paper.
Now, new commissioners face lots of challenges. There's lots to learn in a very short amount of time. What's some advice you'd give to somebody who's stepping into that role for the first time?
We've had a board policy. You can't enforce it. But when you're elected, there's the boot camp. We insist that you go to the boot camp. You will learn so much about the whole process of being a commissioner. And I think to go along with that, ask questions. Ask the questions at the meeting. And I've had a commissioner say, why would I want to do that? Your question might be one that I'm too embarrassed to ask. You know, what about this bond issue or what the case may be? And everyone learns at the same time and gets the right information. So just don't come here and sit and ask questions after the meeting. Do it during the meeting. And you become more informed, you become more involved that way too, I believe.
Now, in thinking about how park districts serve communities, would you say that they provide those services better than, say, a city government could?
Oh, hands down, yes. Yes. We're a self-taxing body, which makes it number one. We're talking to our constituents strictly on a recreational level. The city has other avenues to be talking to people too and spending money on. Yes. And our people are very active in the industry, which I think helps us to constantly tool. This building here was always a dream. And one reason why we hired Mr. Gary Major to be our director, this is one of the things we wanted. And it's made, if nothing else, it's brought our staff into a team. They're in the same building. They help each other out. They pass ideas, pass them back and forth and put them against the wall, that type of stuff. Before, they were all over the place. So, yeah, I just think that we'd make great improvements for our staff and for our district.
No.
And there's no way the city could have done that. Nothing against the city. They got every other department to think about.
In the field of parks and recreation, what would you say are some of the key attributes possessed by those at the very top of their field?
A creativity, a willing to expand what we're doing at all cost. And what I mean by that, every park's going to spend money above and beyond their taxable income, but they go for bonds, they go for grants, and I think you have to do those things. There's no way we could have accomplished what we have accomplished without going for grants, without selling bonds, without going for referendum. And I think you have to have a leader that can take his staff, working with the board, looking at that item and pushing for it and showing people why it's so important to them and to our health. West Chicago is unfortunately one of the heaviest overweighted populations in DuPage County. What better way than help solving that problem to get the park district involved in that? That was one of the things that we looked at too. And that's one reason why I think everyone knew at the time this needed to be done. And we worked very hard and it got through. And I think I have never talked to anyone that said, what did you do this for? I mean, why isn't it bigger?
In your time here, I'm sure you faced many challenges. What do you see as the major challenges confronting today's park system? And more importantly, how do you think we can best resolve those problems?
I think the biggest, from my shallow, narrow vision right now, the biggest challenge we have as any taxing body or any organization are people getting involved. We have a 7-member board, and we beat the bushes to get the people run for the boards. The high schools, the grade schools, city council, no one wants to be on the boards. That's the biggest challenge. Because if I get you on my board, you're going to give me some new ideas, some new things you're hearing from your neighbors. And I don't know why. I think it's our society. I don't care if it's church or if it's elected, paid position or just a volunteer position. People just do not want to take the time to get involved. And society, I think, that seems to be the norm. That's what's scaring me.
Now, what are some opportunities that might arise for a park district? What are some areas where you might be able to find some success or find ways to better serve your community?
Aging population, it's there. And I think we have a commitment to keep them healthy, keep them active socially and mentally. I think we're doing a pretty good job, but we can do a better job in that. And I think the single parent home or both parents working, there's a responsibility. Is it our responsibility? No, but it becomes part of our job description to help these parents have their kids in a safe environment. We even have a preschool, and we work with preschool kids, and it's cheaper to send them to our preschool than maybe to a private. But the parents are very confident it's doing a good job for them. So society changes, we have to change, and we've got to try to help that. Not all the woes of the society are ours, but I don't think we can turn our back on those.
Now I want to shift gears a little bit. I want to ask a little bit about IAPD. What are some of the benefits of a commissioner getting involved in the IAPD?
Number one, if you go into a conference, you get to know people, and you run ideas past them. Hey, I heard about what have you did. You built a new rec center. How'd you do that? Who were your engineers? Who were your builders? Why didn't you take that person? What? Are you happy you'd work with that company? Yes or no. So it gives us a lot of great end feed. We all have the same problems. We all, approach recreation in different areas and different views, but the basics are still there.
Now, what's your own personal experience with IAPD?
Wow, I think you're saying, do I get involved? Yes. Thought about running for the board at one time. I was offered a job to be on one of the directors. No way. I'm too involved here at home. I want to stay here. I go to the conferences. I try to go to some of the social things, which I think sometimes just sitting down in a room with 5 fellow commissioners and maybe some other people, you get some great ideas. And or at least saying, well, I've done that before. That doesn't work, But I think not just attending, but getting them, you come out of a workshop. You may have somebody that was in your district. You start talking about that. Or you're talking to the person next to you. What do you think about what was said? And I think that just rejuvenizes the spirit and the mind to keep on going and saying, there's a way to solve this.
Now, looking here at your time at the West Chicago Park District, what would you consider to be your major contribution to the field of parks and recreation?
Never being stagnant, willing to listen to everyone's views, knew that we had to have this place, never thought we would do it. About 15 years ago, we got real close. We had to design, we had to, actually what was going to cost us. It would have been a rectangular building. It would have had a track and it had a lot of racquetball, because back then racquetball was number one. Wow. This building is so multiple usage. We would never had that then. We would have been stuck with that building. And I guess God's blessing that we couldn't even begin to build a building back then, that we waited 20 more years. And a lot of push by new commissioners to get this thing built. And we said, yeah, we hear you, but we aren't ready yet. People aren't ready to pay a referendum. And the board worked together with staff and presented it, and we got it. And I just think that whole process of being out there and involved with your community and where we come from, we had no parks when this park district developed, none. And we kept it, which is where we are right now, which is owned by the city and still is owned by the city. And one of the commissioners sat down and wrote a proposal to the state of Illinois to get us money to buy our first piece of property, which back then was Easton Park. We just renamed it Don Early Park when the commissioner wrote, and it was our first president. And we started writing grants. We started getting money. We started expanding ourselves. And we realized that the people were responding to us, that we were going down the right track. And we just keep on listening and doing our thing. Our pool out here is nothing new. That's probably a 50-year-old or 60-year-old pool, which was originally put in by the Kiwanians, I want to say. They sold bonds, they built it. It was a steel tank, like all tanks were back then. 2 diving boards, that was our pool. And steel tanks rust. They become a big problem. And that's when the city says, by the way, the pool's yours. So we redid the pool, and when Mr. Major came in, we had all the different features to it. And it's been, I'm going to say, a moneymaker for us. I think one year we were in the red. And to say that for an outdoor pool is saying a lot.
Now, how would you like to be remembered?
Whoa, wow, that's pretty, that I open-minded, I was active, and I listened to you. And I may say, I'm sorry, either you're not getting to me, or I don't see how it's going to work for us, or we just can't do that.
If you were to go back and talk to your 20-year-old self, what advice would you give him?
I'm going to go back to what I said in the first thing. Don't open your mouth until you get involved. Look at the pros and the cons. Look at different people's views. Understand where they're coming from. Just because you don't build a new cricket facility doesn't mean you don't like cricket. Because land, as you well know in this area, is not cheap. Right there's 3/4 of your expense of what you're going to do. So there are reasons why things are not getting done. Don't sit on the outside and criticize without having the facts. I would tell anyone that, I don't care if you're talking about park districts, your own financial endeavors with your wife or whatever you're going to do. Going to school, going to college, going to trade school. Don't say I can't. If you go there and you go to trade school, you go to college and you give it everything you have, you don't make it. At least 20 years from then, you can say, but I tried. If you wait 20 years and say, maybe I should have done that, shame on you. Shame on yourself. Push yourself, get involved, and see if you can do it. There's a limit.
Is there a particular quote that inspires your work?
Wow. Try to please those you're working for and keep yourself out of the paper. Again, going back to what I said before, you're going to be criticized. Everyone does that. I criticize people too. But you want your name in the paper because you were successful in doing something rather than not successful. Be prepared and enjoy your job. I don't care if you're a commissioner or working for the staff, you have to enjoy your job. Otherwise, you're not going to give 100%.
Now, here's a fun question. If funds were unlimited, what would you like to see done for the West Chicago Park District?
Oh, this is so selfish. First thing I would take out, every one of my staff members and bring them where they belong financially. We're underpaid. If we paid these really by the hour, we couldn't afford these people. Be our custodians to our CEO, everything else in between. Assuming you had a good feeling for your community, I would try to get those people involved and expand those endeavors, look at them, see if there's something we could do. We always talked about having a big outdoor amphitheater type thing like a Ravinia. We're not a Ravinia, but that's, I could see us expanding a lot of different areas. I would probably take our pool and put a lazy river in there, expand. I would double it. I really would. I would offer more free programs. What I mean by that, we have several different things that you can come here with we have a Hello Summer thing. We have a petting zoo. We have painting of faces. We have, from little dudes to the older people, we've got music all day long. We have from Spanish music to English, everything. And everyone's there free of charge. I would offer more of those. The reason why, yes, it gets them into our parks, but it brings them, the family, into our parks, which I think is our most important thing. And I don't know if it's an outcome of this, but the vandalisms in our parks have probably decreased by 95%. And you come up here on a Sunday, any Sunday you want, this park will be jam-packed with people having picnics. And I asked the maintenance department, a lot of work, yes, on Mondays, we may pick up 4 or 5 pieces of paper. They police themselves. We don't have the police up here. They're very polite. And I think they take great pride in our park. I think that's something fantastic. I really do. And I'd like to see more free programs. They're free to you, but not free to the budget. That's the problem. You bring a band in, the bands don't play for nothing. So there's always that extra expense, but part of their parks, their money goes to the parks and programs, so we try to give back to them. And it's the boards and the staff's desire to add 2 or 3 more of those programs as a freebie to our constituents.
Now, last but certainly not least, what would you say is your vision for the future of parks and recreation in the state of Illinois?
A little more cooperativeness from top to bottom. What I mean, we have an organization, WDSRA, which is a special recreation consortium. We're pretty close. We're not real close. There's no reason why that should be that way. We should be reaching out beyond our little boundaries. I think we need to get involved with each other a little bit more and not have an attitude, well, we have more money or we have bigger woods or we have a golf course. Let's open ourselves up. Let's knock the doors down. Yes, you've got to charge us a little bit more because we're out of district, but let's not make it non-affordable for everybody. Because we're all in this together, and the more we can get people bouncing around and getting more active and socially for our own family and physically, the better for all of us.
Thank you so much, Frank, for taking time out of your day to speak with us.
Well, thank you very much for being here and doing this for all of us.
This interview was part of the Illinois Association of Park Districts Legends video series. For more interviews, please visit us at our content-rich website at ilparks.org/legends. Also, follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram for all the latest videos, resources, events, and more. Thank you so much for watching.